So this is a very important election coming up next month. My students and I have been working with Andy and Jolena from the Register to create some questions for you to answer so that we can learn more about you, what you will do if you are elected as one of the 7 Sandusky City Commissioners. People who are willing to enter into the political arena are to be commended for their willingness to serve. We know, especially in this day and age, that that's not an easy thing to do. So we thank you for giving us the opportunity to find out more about you and what you might do if you are elected to serve our beautiful city of Sandusky. Thank you. Thank you. This race is unique as we have 5 challengers also being there are no incumbents joining for re-election. So we have 5 newcomers to the seat. Patricia Ferguson to my far right, Greg Peugeot, Timothy Schwander, who is not here today as of right now, Tom Tucker, and Levada Wilson. Each will give you a little bio about themselves. We're going to start our 9-second introductions with Patricia Ferguson. We're going to hold our thoughts to the very end at this point going forward, okay? Thank you.
Praise God. I come to you in the name of Jesus Christ because I accepted him as a little girl. And my son went to this school. His name is Leo Ferguson III. He was the class of 90 something. I got 4 kids, so I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But as of October 31st, he will be a retired lieutenant colonel. So going to this school did help him. And I thank God for him going to the school. And I just want to say that I love Jesus and I love children. I used to keep 12 at one time. And that's my introduction.
Thank you. Greg Peugeot.
Thanks, Andy. Hi, everyone. But thank you to Sandusky Central Catholic St. Mary's for hosting this. Thanks to Mr. Michael, Mr. Ferber, and Mr. Kohler, and everyone else. But it's great to see so many familiar faces looking at us today and coming up with great questions that we need to be able to answer in order for us to be your candidates and commissioners down the road. Again, my name's Greg Peugeot. I'm familiar with a lot of people here. My wife and I both graduated from Sandusky High. My daughter Natalie graduated here at Sandusky St. Mary's, and Brody attended here from kindergarten through 8th grade. So this is a really special place. Sandusky's a special place for us. And like what Mr. Murray said in his opening statements, Sandusky wasn't really a place for my wife and I that we felt like we could come back to until it was. And our goal on commission will be to continue to make sure that you guys see this as a place to come back to someday. Thank you.
Then please hold your applause to the very end. Thank you. Tom Tucker. Good morning. I'd like to thank everyone for being here and setting this up. My name is Tom Tucker, and I'm a candidate for the Sandusky City Commission. And I'm feeling really at home because I spent 39 years in education. 24 of those was as a band director at Urban High School. Became superintendent of Sandusky schools in 2010. My wife and I moved here and found out that Sandusky, after a decade of some really strong leadership, has turned around. And I really believe that Sandusky's best days are ahead. Being superintendent of Sandusky schools, I have many decades of experience in the government sector and learning how to work as a team to move things forward. A lot of times, not having teamwork, things can't move forward. I'm sure a lot of you are in organizations, and you know what happens when there's a lot of challenges going on there. I plan to work with the business community, local people, to move this community forward. And the key to most communities is what's in it for the youth. And you are the future of Sandusky right here. And my goal would be to work to continue to keep this community moving forward so you have many opportunities to stay here and move forward. I serve on a number of local committees, and I'm married to Diana. We've been married for over 47 years and have a daughter, Amy, who lives in Columbus. Thank you. Thank you. Levada Wilson.
Hi, everyone. My name is Levada Wilson, and I'm running for city commissioner. Thank you for having us here today. Yes, I'm not speaking loud. I was born and raised in Sandusky, and I'm a proud Walter Westerhold. I've seen that high school, graduating way back in the Stone Age, 1976. Thereafter, I went to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, where I received my Bachelor of Art degree in political science. Once I returned to Sandusky in the mid 80s, I married and had two children. And now I have four grandchildren, and they are the joy of my life. When I first moved back to Sandusky, I was employed by Sandusky City Schools for at least 10 years. Thereafter, I was a case manager at Fireman's Mental Health, and then finally I landed with the county as a probation officer. I worked with Judge Mashari and then Judge Tone before becoming the county's clerk of courts. My entire adult life has been in service to others. And even though I have more time behind me than I do ahead of me, I still have a passion for public service. Please vote for me, and you need to vote for me or tell somebody to do so. And thank you.
Thank you. Looking to get to our first student question right now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Swain. I'm a senior here at St. Mary's. And my first question is on housing. I was just wondering how you guys all felt about all the different types of housing with our tourist-based economy, such as like full-time housing, part-time housing, rentals. I just want to know how you feel about that. Makes you think some you should go more into like full-time housing, or we're okay with all the different types.
The questions about housing, transient rentals, full-time housing, year-round housing, just your overall views of housing. We'll start with you, Mr. Cujo.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
We're going to take turns answering first. Mr. Cujo will be first this time.
Thank you. Great question, Grant. Housing's a big issue with its selection, and particularly affordable housing. We do have a tourist-based economy, more so than ever now, and so it's important that we make housing available to everyone that wants to be in Sandusky at rates that and costs that can be afforded by the incomes that we have here. Another part of that is good jobs that we'll talk about later. But on the housing front, I want to continue the momentum that the current commission has with the Welcome Home Ohio program. We have a $3.5 million grant that the city has received from the state of Ohio. It's going to allow us to build 35 homes or so and sell them at affordable rates. I'm on the board for Habitat for Humanity for Firelands, and we're doing the same thing there. About a timing, I've got a lot more to say, but we'll talk later.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Your overall views of housing in Sandusky.
A lot of what Greg said, exactly what I agree with. The Welcome Home program is doing well. They have also got 1,200 grants that are awarded to people to help upgrade their homes and put some things in. A good mix of homes are good. Homeowners are one of the priorities here. That's a challenge in an area like ours. A good mix of different type of homes are there. There's an excellent report that the city had done. It's called the Analysis of Impediments to the Fair Housing Choice. So really interesting. It's online. You can read it, and it really gets into detail on the challenges facing Sandusky for folks to own homes and buy homes here, and different ways that you can overcome that. Big supporter of having those grants available to those folks and having people have their own homes here. Levita Wilson, your overall views on housing in Sandusky.
Well, I give kudos to the current administration's current commissioners for the Welcome Home Ohio program. That program is granted from the state $3.5 million. And what it does is to give families that otherwise would not be able to afford housing and an opportunity to have a house, have affordable housing. They are 1,300 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with already the appliances in them. And so I think that it is important that we continue with the progress that has already been made. Housing is one of the major issues in here.
Thank you. Patricia Ferguson, your overall views of housing in Sandusky.
Well, my overall view of housing in Sandusky, I'm concerned about the mentally ill. I know a lot of families that are but affected by family members that may have autism or limitations. And I think sometimes they need their own space if they're capable of, someone guiding them through their housing. So mental illness, the safety, and they want to be independent, some of them. And another concern of mine, if you look on YouTube, and most of y'all got cell phones, they have what they call the tiny houses. And you can buy a tiny house for $10,000 or less. So if you got a house, a land, you can own your own house. If you all have some money, you can own your own house.
Thank you. If any teams have a rebuttal, just raise your hand. If not, we're going to go to the next question. Okay, next question.
I'm Blake Finneran. I'm also in 12th grade here at Sandusky Central Catholic. And I have a two-part question. First, have you ever been in a leadership position in the past? And second, what have you done to better that community through that leadership position?
What was the first one?
Have you been in a leadership position in the past?
So what leadership experience do you have and how have you used that to benefit the community? We're going to start with you, Mr. Tucker. The answer is yes. First of all, just being a band director for 25 years in the community, I was superintendent of Lorraine City Schools and superintendent of Sandusky City Schools. The Lorraine City Schools, where I was at a leadership position, prior to my arrival, they had eliminated all the art music. Tennis art had been canceled. So what we had to do was pass a levy and get the finances back on track. That was a 3-year thing that we ended up doing. We ended up getting it done. And once again, that was my teamwork. That was my involvement in the community, staff, students, and everything. Sandusky, when I was superintendent, the state was in an economic problem, and they took away a lot of our public funding, and we had a challenge. They took it away at the end of the year. And the key to those type of economic problems is dealing with them in a real humane way and making it better for the community in the future. Thank you. Ms. Wilson, your leadership experience and how have you used it to benefit the community?
Well, my last leadership position was as clerk of courts for Erie County. How did I use that? Prior to working as clerk of courts, I worked for Judge Capone, Judge Michard. We would have to go downstairs, and in boxes we would find in the clerk's office cases and pleadings that we would have to dig through to find the pleadings or cases that we needed. When I became clerk of courts, I put everything in order. We came in on Saturdays from 8 to 12 for 8 months. And what I did was put everything in order. And from 2000 forward, we put everything online. Secondly, we also did e-filing. E-filing is a thing where an attorney could be in New York and want to file something with the court through an e-filing system to the judge. And that we also did. So yes, I have leadership experience on a whole adult life.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, what has been your leadership experience and how have you used it to benefit the community?
As a leader, I have been a minister for over 45 years. And I have taught the gospel of Jesus Christ. I also worked at the Bureau Police Department. I also worked at the Erie County Juvenile Jail. I also worked for the Ohio State University teaching nutrition, which I really love. I go to the homes teaching them the basics, cooking, sewing, cleanliness, sanitation. So I feel that I have contributed a lot because I work with lots of children for 4-H, So I've been a leader.
Mr. Pujo, same question.
Thanks. And Blake, thanks for the question. I've been fortunate to be in a lot of leadership positions since I graduated from high school and even before that. I'd say my favorite leadership position, though, is coaching basketball right here with a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. It was a lot of fun, and I think the real benefit, at least I hope the real benefit, beyond winning and losing the basketball games, was creating future leaders for Sandusky and beyond.
Thank you. We'll get to our next student question.
My name is Lauren Maxwell. I'm also a senior here, and I'm wondering, how do you plan on balancing this position on top of all your other commitments?
So just for some context, the city commission is treated like a part-time job. This is not considered a full-time job. These people do need to have full-time jobs. So how can you balance your work life, your personal life, if you get elected to office? We're going to start with you, Loretta Wilson.
Currently retired as of January this year in Donaldsville. I lost an invention as report. But what keeps me busy now is I have a 93-year-old mom who has Alzheimer's. My sister moved in with her, but I assist them both. My husband, children, and grandchildren who now live in Grove City, I try to see as often as possible. But like all of us, we prioritize things that are important in our life. And as you will continue to do as you go to college and get in the workforce, you too will prioritize the things that are needed in your life. For me, I put God first, not church, but God, like the relationship with Him, my family, and then my position. So that has served me well in the last 60 years. Not that I've done it perfectly till that time, but that is what I will continue to do as far as prioritize.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, how can you prioritize being a city commissioner with your personal and professional lives?
I believe that in all thy ways acknowledge God, and He will direct your path. Your foot should be ordered by the Lord every day. Ask Him because time is His, and we only have one day. And you also have a good calendar. I keep a calendar or a planner, and I prioritize what is the most needed for me to take care of. And that's how I balance my life.
Thank you, Mr. Peugeot. How can you balance being a city commissioner with everything else going on in your life?
Thanks, and thanks for the question, Lori. I'm a lawyer. I left that out of my bio and introduction earlier. I've been a lawyer for 22 years, and so it's always a challenge with work-life balance. But you find a way, much like being an athlete in school, and balance at school studies and balance at practice, and get better at both every single day. You find a way to organization, accountability, and commitment. I think being a lawyer is something I'm going to use to leverage my time on commission and really help bring a different way of thinking to the commission, one that the commission currently has but is losing. So I think it'll really help the commission to have a lawyer on it.
Mr. Tucker, same question.
I've been retired from full time for about 7 or 8 years. I have plenty of time now. I do teach part time for Cleveland State in their education department, and I also run numerous local committees. So I have a lot of time to devote to that. And my whole career has been devoted to public service, and I know the importance and the timing of that and how important that could be.
Thank you. We want to just remind everybody, this is a city commission race, 5 candidates for 3 seats. This is the Registers in Schools debate series here at St. Mary's Central Catholic in Sandusky, brought to you by the Greater Sandusky Partnership.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bella Matthews, and I'm also a senior here at Sandusky Central Catholic. Specifically, what priorities are you setting for the city government when relating to youth recreation? Besides the recreation center, what other projects do you have in mind to accommodate our youth?
For some context, there's been through a levy, there was funding approved to build a new recreation center, sort of by where Sandusky High School and Firelands Health is located. So we're going to restart that question with this context. What priorities are you setting for the city government when relating to youth recreation, and what other projects do you have in mind to accommodate the youth? We're going to start with you, Patricia Ferguson.
At the latest forum, there was a young lady there I think her name was Jennifer Chad, and I can't remember, but she's on the school board with, I believe, Martha Murray. But either way, I talked with Jennifer and I said that I believe that the whole um, recreation is good, but I believe that children or students need recreation in the basics. Like, I would love to have a student's cooking class, or can you sew a limb? Can you sew a dress? Can you have your own style show? Not so much as basketball or swimming, but at the same time learning basic skills on, you know, once you
Thank you.
graduate.
Thank you. Mr. Tijo, what priorities are you setting for the city government when relating to youth recreation? And what other projects do you have in mind to accommodate the youth?
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for the question, Bella. My priority with youth recreation is communication and collaboration with the partners that we have in the city. We have a rec department. We have two great school systems. The school systems know the recreational needs of their students, and so it's really important for us to communicate and collaborate with schools and all of our other two partners, and to come up with innovative ideas on what you guys need. And together we can pull that off. But the commission itself will struggle to do it on its own. So it's really important to talk and sit down and listen.
Mr. Tucker, what priorities are you setting for the city government when relating to youth recreation? And what other projects do you have in mind to accommodate the youth?
I agree with Mr. Pujol. My whole background in education and working in extracurricular activities and recreation is a priority for me. And the key to that is having funding to make that happen. Partnering with the schools and partnering and talking with the students, because you know what you like. We think we know what you like, but sometimes we don't always listen. But partnering with the schools to make those programs happen, that's the key to moving that forward. Finding the funding to do that is always a challenge. We do have some funding available, and I don't have all the information on that because it's moving forward as we speak. But that would be a big priority to give the youth and the recreation department.
Switzer, what priorities are you setting for the city government when relating to youth recreation? And other than the rec center, what other projects do you have in mind to accommodate the youth?
I think the recreational center is extremely important in order that children may have, not just children, but also seniors, may have opportunities for the use of a gym, art programs, walking, running clubs. Those are things that I would love to see a part of the recreational center. Aside from that, I think the most Mr. Pujol and Mr. Tucker also pointed out that we need to collaborate with the school system and with students to see and understand what it is that we need to make available to them, making sure that our parks remain safe and up to date.
Thank you. Rebuttals? No. Okay, we're going to go to our rapid fire round. The candidates will still answer questions, but they'll only get 30 seconds to respond and 15 seconds to rebut.
Good morning. My name is Pavan Gordy, and I'm also a senior. My question is, what three characteristics do you think are most important for this position, and how do you exemplify them?
What three characteristic traits are most important and how do you exemplify them? Mr. Tijo.
Thanks. I appreciate the question. I'd say a lot like the last question, communication and collaboration. Those are kind of one of the things. I think organization is another, and the ability to lead would be the third, and maybe tie it back in with the first would be listening.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker, what three characteristics traits do you think are most important for this position and how do you exemplify them?
Working in school government for a lot of my career, collaboration is one of the most prioritized things. The other one, number two, is communication also. You need to communicate with your folks
and listen and absolutely have listening sessions to what's going on and leadership. So my three would be collaboration, communication, and leadership.
Ms. Wilson, what three traits do you think are most important for this position?
Honesty, transparency, listening, and communication.
Ms. Ferguson, same question.
The characteristics I believe is being faithful and being on time, and also being personal with the people. And the best way to be personal is to come to things like this at St. Lear's, or come to your church sometime, or come to a community event you have. I think to be personal and faithful and on time.
Thank you. We'll get into our next question.
Hello, my name is Brian Cerna. I'm a senior here at SMCC, and my question is, what other attractions would you bring to Sandusky during the winter while Cedar Point is closed, so we keep bringing in tours?
How can we make Sandusky more of a year-round destination, especially when Cedar Point is closed during the off-season, Mr. Tucker?
Well, the Christmas fair is one thing that's really been successful. And the other, for me personally, there are experts out there that I would consult to get their information on what we could do. I have know what I'm interested in, but I would consult the experts and the people that are in the tourism industry and that industry to do it.
Ms. Wilson, same question.
I'm not really sure, but the thing that first came to mind was maybe a winter skating rink outside somewhere downtown. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think we would need to discuss it with experts and see if there's something that Sandusky can be able to do.
Ms. Ferguson, what can you do to make Sandusky more of a year-round destination?
When at the neighborhood where my daughter lived, they used to have, and I don't know if they still do, where they invite the people into their homes. She lived at 308 East Adams. And so inviting people into your home for an original meal, something different. And also, I love the windy weather. So having kites, everybody get their kite and go downtown.
Thank you. Mr. Puccio, same question.
Thanks for the question, Brian. I did prove what we currently have. Cedar Point Sports Center is an incredible winter asset. It's really helped our local economy during the times that Cedar Point isn't open. So partnering with our economic development teams and making sure that is maximized the best it can possibly be, and building things that supplement that. That's things I'm looking at.
Hi, my name is Alan Little, and I'm a senior. My question is, how can you better accommodate residents and construction projects so that they don't interfere with everyday life?
How can we better accommodate residents and construction projects so they don't interfere with everyday life? We're going to start with you, Ms. Wilson.
I think probably one of the best things to do is to have a start date and a finish date, and to make sure that the public is aware of each, and try to stick to those dates as you move forward with construction or whatever it is that you're taking to do.
Ms. Ferguson, what can we do to better accommodate residents with construction projects happening in the city?
Well, I think announcements is very important. What I used to do is go to the schools if I was announcing the community event that I was having fun day. I would go to each school and pass out at least 5,000 flyers. So passing out flyers is a good way to communicate.
Mr. Puccio, same question.
Thanks for the question, Allie. Construction in town is oftentimes a good problem to have. I often look at it as short-term pain for long-term gain. I think the key to improving it is communicating with everyone, especially in the neighborhoods that are most affected by the construction. Sharing alternative routes if it's a street project, repaving and that sort of thing, and set an expectation with the contractors that are doing the work.
Mr. Tucker, same question.
construction is a positive. There's a lot of communities here that don't have the construction, and communication is key. While everybody complains about, oh, the street is down, and Monroe Street's a good example. When it was done, it sure is nice. It's just communication. And when you're in a city as old as ours, you never know what you're going to get when you dig down. I was in charge of a project of building a high school in a community, and it is always surprising what happens when you start some of these works.
Thank you. Just want to remind everybody that this is the Registers in Schools debate series here at St. Mary's Central Catholic in Sandusky. We're here for the Sandusky City Commissioners. 5 candidates for 3 seats. The election is November 4th. Whichever of the 3 candidates gets the most votes will win a 4-year term beginning in January.
Let's go.
Hello, my name is Ben Jones. I'm a senior here. And in what ways will you work with Erie County Commissioners to secure funding, support local projects, and make sure that the county's decisions reflect the best interests of the city's task?
Contacts the city and the county work together on many projects, including the most expensive involving water and sewer. So, to repeat the question, in what ways will you work with the county commissioners to secure funding, support local projects, and make sure that all decisions reflect the best interests of Sandusky taxpayers? I'm going to start with you, Ms. Ferguson.
Well, I believe when we come together to vote on money issues, my main thing is, are you for the residents? If you are for the residents, I'm in agreement with you, because it is the residents that pay the taxes.
Mr. Pujo, do you need the best ring or no?
Nope.
Well,
Thanks, Ben. We have to bring everyone to the table. That includes the county. As city commissioners, we are going to do what's in the best interest of the city of Sandusky. But working with the county will end up making decisions that benefit Sandusky. And typically what benefits the communities around Sandusky will ultimately benefit Sandusky. So it's sitting down, talking, communicating with them.
Mr. Tucker?
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. Communication with the county and working together. We do represent the citizens of Sandusky, but once again, water rises, then all ships. It just works when everybody works together. That can be a challenge at times, but that's the way it would work.
Ms. Wilson, same question.
I just want to say ditto, but I won't. We do need to just come together and sit down, have a seat at the table, and discuss issues that affect not only the city, but also.
We're going to get to our next student question.
Good morning. My name is Sam Barnes, senior. And my question is, how are you guys going to solve the problem with the state here? The state.
For over a year, there's been little to no activity to complete the Sandusky State Theater for a number of reasons, including funding issues and construction troubles. What can you do as a city commissioner to fix this problem? I'm going to start with you, Mr. Pujo.
Thanks for the question, Sam. My answer to this question is going to sound a lot like some of the answers I've recently given. But to really solve a complex issue like the state theaters, you gotta know what it is first. You gotta learn. You gotta bring people together. We have to have meetings with those partners if we're talking about. We got to involve the state of Ohio and everyone who has a vested interest in the state theater.
Mr. Tucker, what assurances can you give to make sure that the state theater project is complete?
I served on the Final and Symphony Board for many years, and we are anxious to get the state theater open, and we meet regularly with the folks at the state theater. There's a lot of the fact they are going to close up the theater, the back of it that's open for this year, and they're still in arbitration over the money. Once that is completed, then you will see much more forward progress. Unfortunately, with litigation and those type of things, you just have to wait, but that is a priority for me.
Ms. Wilson, what can you do to help get the state theater construction projects done?
I believe that the key there is communication. We have to pull everyone that is involved in the state theater together sit down and communicate and see what it is that we can do to help us move forward with the project.
Ms. Ferguson, same question.
I believe to solve the issue of the state theater, we need to find out first who owns the property. And then we need to know, are there already investors in the property? And if those people, what can you contribute to fixing up the state theater? Don't put the whole responsibility on the people of the city. So we pull all those people together to find out those issues, and then we can go from there.
Thank you.
My name's Brian Dixon. I'm on CD Mary St. Mary's. Where do you guys see Sandusky in 10 years?
Where do you see the city in 10 years? We're going to start with you, Mr. Tuffer. Continue what we've done the past 10 years has been amazing. Build on the economic progress, continue supporting businesses. There's a lot of projects that this commission has started. Like to see those completed to the end and then look at other areas of interest to move forward. But we are on here, keep it going and keep those financial in line, and all sorts of things for us to keep those going, but to continue the progress of the town. Ms. Wilson.
I think we have a pretty good foundation with this current administration, board commissioners. And I would just like to see us continue to build on that. The downtown area is beautiful. And I know that there are other plans to do such things with Battery Park and the Cedar Point area. I'd just like to see that continue as we work on the east side, west side, and south side.
Ms. Ferguson, where do you see Sandusky 10 years from now?
Starting hopefully in 2026, if I'm elected, I will encourage the commissioners, county and city, that we should have a disaster center. We have had a number of tornadoes and hurricanes in this area. But if we had a terrible flood downtown, are we prepared to take care of the people? Can we care for them?
Thank you, Mr. Peugeot. Same question.
Thanks for the question, Brian. Sandusky's better off now than it was 10 years ago. And in 10 years from now, I see Sandusky as better, safer, and more affordable than it is now. And I also, in 10 years, I see us passing the torch to you, to this group, to run Sandusky.
Thank you. I just want to remind everybody that the Registers in Schools debate series is brought to you by the Greater Sandusky Partnership. All of our debates, including this one, will be available on our YouTube channel.
Good morning. My name is Gabe Birch. I'm also a senior here. And my question is, with the new addition of the data center on Perkins Ave, how do you plan to bring more all year round jobs to Sandusky?
I'm going to make this a two-part question. We're going to talk about the data center. Is this something you're in favor of? And what can we do to get more jobs into the area? We're going to start with you, Ms. Wilson.
More jobs into the area. I think maybe we have to give people that want to come to the area, businesses that want to come to the area, some type of incentive, maybe a tax break or a tax incentive. As far as the data center, I'm for anything that will allow for more jobs to be had, especially if they're going to pay more than the minimum wage, where somebody can make a living to do so.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, how can we support more jobs year round? And are you a fan of the data center?
I did an investigation on the data center. I found that one is not just Sandusky, it's in Perkins. And it was the people in Perkins who voted for that data center. To my knowledge, some of the people that's running is not in favor of that data center. And I found out it's not going to hire a lot of us. I thought it was. And they said the construction that's being done, they want to hire a lot to do the construction. But once the
We can get your rebuttal if you want. Mr. Peugeot, same question.
Thanks. And thanks for the question, Gabe. I think innovation is the key word for this question. We got to be really innovative to find the jobs that we need that are year round, that replace a lot of the factory jobs that our fathers and grandfathers and mothers and grandmothers had. That don't exist here anymore. But I think we can come up with innovative ways to do that. I've got ideas on bringing remote workers here that want to live on the lake and pay income taxes.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker, same question. Most of our economy, a lot of our economy right now is built on the tourism, which is done well for us. But we need to diversify a little bit of that. And I agree with Mr. Puchetto that we need more innovation and getting those folks who are so we have more year-round jobs for that. Reaching out to those folks and giving them incentives to come here, and that's the way it works today. The data center is in Perkins, and that is their decisions. Ms. Ferguson, would you like to finish your point quickly?
Yes. When it comes to the data center, I thought it was going to hire a lot of us. I found out that once the construction is over, there is barely no workers going to be in that building. There's going to be some, but very few. And less than, from what I was told, less than 100 people.
Thank you. Mr. Bishop, would you like to finish your point?
I'm all set.
Okay, next question.
I'm Blake Finner, senior here at St. Mary's Central Catholic. And my question is, what kind of connections have you built in the community throughout your lifetime, and how will you use those to better the city?
What connections have been built, and how can we use them to better the city? We're going to start with you, Ms. Ferguson.
I always try to stay connected. One way I stay connected is I volunteered for the Board of Elections to work in the polls. And I volunteered to the majority of churches. I go to parks and I hand out Bibles and I tell people about Jesus. Because there's more to life than what we can see. There's death. And everybody should be ready for that time.
Thank you. Mr. Puget, how can you leverage your connections to help you in the city commission role?
Great question, Blaine. Connections are so important to you moving forward. As you move on, take advantage of the connections you're making here at Sandusky Central Catholic and continue to make connections beyond when you're at college, because that's why I'm where I'm at today, and it's why you're going to be wherever you end up. You need people in your corner helping you. If they're here, they're going to be at your colleges.
Finish quickly.
And they're gonna help set the path, allow you to have a voice and someone to listen to you to help move things forward in your life. And that's really what's going to help us as a city, is all the connections that we have.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. So run the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board. I'm active in Rotary. I'm president of Rotary. I'm a trustee of the Sandusky Dog Club. I work on the Closed Kids program, which does a lot of close a lot of kids at Christmas. I'm with the Fire and Symphony Board. I have a lot of connections in the schools where I work, and those are local community people that you can count on and work with. And I still get out volunteer, and almost all of those are volunteer positions that you do. Thank you. Ms. Wilson, how can we use your connections in the city commission role to the advantage of the community?
Well, of course, we've become, since 1996, I started off as a probation officer. Then I worked for Judge Tony and Judge Michelle. So I have county connections there, including those of the commissioners. I'm currently on the board of Vitamins Regional Medical Center, which is the largest employer in the city. And so I think my connections are strong and good, and when they're needed, I will definitely use.
Thank you to Ms. Ferguson on that question. Have you answered the question yet?
I think you did, but ask me again.
Connections. Okay. We're going to get to our next student question.
Hi, I'm Cindy Woodruff, upper 12th grade. What are your plans to alleviate the constant backup of traffic in all of Sandusky, including Route 6 from Sports Horse, even during Sierra Boys off-seasons?
What can we do to alleviate traffic issues all across the city, including on Route 6 by the Sports Center, Mr. Tucker? Actually, the in the register this morning, there was an article on safety, and there was a study done by the city, and the city already has plans for that. I'd like to follow through on those. There's a lot of plans to widen that, and at the area that you're talking about, Cedar Point Sports Center, and there's the safety plan has a lot of recommendations that the city can implement in the future. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
There is a Cleveland Road project that is supposed to help with streets and with other activities on Cleveland Road. So I'm hoping that once I become a member of the city commissioner, that I help to push those efforts forward.
Ms. Ferguson, what can you do to alleviate the constant backup of traffic across the city?
Well, I agree with Laveda. If I'm elected, I will definitely be in agreement for the Cleveland Road construction.
Mr. Paduccio.
Thanks for the question. I to work with the traffic experts and empower them to do what's necessary to alleviate the traffic in Sandusky. You'll find in any role that you have that you can't be an expert in everything, but you can sit down and talk to the experts in everything, and that's what I do in this situation.
Thank you. We have time for one last question from a student.
My name is Ivan Gordy and I'm a senior. My question is, if you were to disagree with another commission member, how would you handle it without stalling progress?
If you are elected, how can you continue and maintain progress even when you're disagreeing with your colleagues? We're going to start with you, Ms. Wilson.
Well, I think with any relationship, communication is the key. So you keep talking and you get all the facts that you can, and then you make a decision. And once that decision is made, the majority has won, you continue to move forward.
Ms. Ferguson.
I believe that just like any relationship, household, moms and dads, children are going to disagree. But you talk it over, you disagree, and you try to come to a middle where everybody is there.
Mr. Paduccio.
Thanks, and thanks for the question. The job that I have is a lawyer, as most lawyers do. There's disagreement in almost every case that I have, and you also tend to work with a lot of those people over and over again. So this is something I deal with on a regular basis. The key is hearing the other side out and explaining why you're making decisions that they disagree with, and so that they understand.
Mr. Tucker. A lot of my career was being with school boards, so that was I've had a lot of experience as that. I was of course, the superintendent of schools, so you would work with school boards, and there was a lot of disagreement on school boards. You listen to them, you work through them. Compromise is key. Sometimes today that's a challenge, but compromise and listen through, and then working as a team to know you're doing everything for the better going forward, because you are going to disagree. That's going to happen. Thank you. That concludes our question portion. We're going to get into our closing statements, but before we do, I just want to remind everybody that this is the Register's Big Schools Debate Series here at Sandusky Central Catholic School. This is the Sandusky City Commissioners. There are 5 newcomers vying for 3 seats. We're going to go in the opposite order of how we started for our 1-minute closing statements. That means we're going to start with Laveda Wilson.
Thank you so much for having us here today. I have to tell you something. This is our last debate, and I'm kind of glad. But you guys have been awesome. Thank you for the questions. If you're 18 years old and can vote, please do. If you're not quite there yet, talk to your family members and tell them to vote for Laveda. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. Tucker. Thank you for having us. And I always enjoy when government classes participate in the community, and then your questions were really good and really spot on. I really appreciate that. And we're hoping to move, all of us out there, hoping to move the community forward and work forward. And I would ask for your vote for me on election day if you're of age. Thank you. Greg Peugeot.
Thanks. And thanks for making today available for us so that we can uh, tell everyone in Sandusky what we're all about and give them a much better picture in terms of what they're voting for, who they're voting for. These questions were phenomenal today. These questions seem like they came from adults. So I can't tell you how impressed I am. I understand it because I have kids here, and I know the leadership you have here. Take advantage of it. You know, maximize and leverage these credentials. Go out and conquer the world, and then move back to Sandusky.
Patricia Ferguson.
I just want to say, this is the Bible I use, King James Version, KJV, and it says, all of y'all got God and blow your breath to God. Keep putting the breath of life in you. If you don't vote for me, vote for the good vote. I appreciate your vote, and I want your vote. But you got greatness inside of you. So you go forth and be the leaders of today and tomorrow. Because somebody is watching you.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick shout outs. I want to shout out the Greater Sandusky Partnership. Without them, this debate or the others in our series would not be possible. Also, now let's give the candidates a round of applause. This is not MCC time. It seems like while they have different platforms and concerns, they all have Sandusky's interest at best heart. And let's give yourselves a round of applause, both the students in the audience and the ones asking the questions.